Hello there. We are Geeks Assembled, and today we are talking about one of the most talked about Christmas movies in the world ever. And it's not because of the Christmas thing, it's because of the big debate about the movie being a Christmas movie. We are talking 1988, Bruce Willis movie, of course. We are talking Die Hard. There we are, Susan's got it as well there. Yes, there's always a debate about this movie. Is it a Christmas movie? Isn't it a Christmas movie? We may get an answer when we come to the end of this cast. So we will go to Alex and Susan for their opening thoughts on Die Hard.
All right. Well, this. I have an opinion about that question that you posited, and I'll save it for the end of the cast. So I enjoy this every holiday season because it is about one of the best action movies of like the 1980s. It's pretty intense. It's got, German terrorists, not terrorists, but, Germans involved in a heist, and a Japanese business owner and his edifice in Los Angeles. And it also has to do with a cop and a television reporter. I mean, it's almost like an Incredible Hulk episode, only you got John McClane here. So this guy, Bruce Willis, this is where he cut his teeth. This is where he started to, show the world that he's a really super amazing actor. But Alan Rickman plays Hans Gruber, and Alan Rickman is a whoopee, that's for sure. And in this one, his badness, it makes it hard to, to accept the fact that he's such a mean and nasty character. These are the issues with watching this movie for me. And I tried to invite one of his longtime fans, Alan Rickman's, what is called in their fandom, Rickmaniac. They have Rickmaniacs, and that's what. And this one is this one that I was thinking of would have been quite a lovely addition to this cast. But we'll keep working on getting more things for that person to do with us. So there, we've got a little plug for the future, something to look forward to for you guys. You are watchers, our faithful watchers and listeners. And yes, so I enjoyed it, and I enjoy it a lot. There's some really iconic stuff in it. And anyway, yeah, so that's all. That's my opening thoughts. Here's Alex.
Okay. This is one of the movies that they didn't think was going to be so big, and they did originally want more famous people, but I don't think you need it. It is a Christmas movie. It is a great 1980s movie. The first three are really fun and great and relatable. Even if they're not, even if they're not the most intelligent, but they're intelligent enough, which is good. You have a lot of famous actors between all those three movies. You have the guy from Family Matters as the cop. You have John Amos from the second one, who we all know from Good Times. And then you have the third one, Samuel L. Jackson, who has almost been in everything. I don't know why he's not in British TV shows as well. He's been in everything else. So you have that. By the time they start going to 4th, 5th, and who knows what else, and I think they're trying to reboot it, as a matter of fact, it's not relatable at all. it's a very slow-moving video game. At least with the first three, it's a fun video game in a way. And they did make it into a computer video game also in real life. So yeah, there's some things wrong with it, but obviously it's an action movie. It's not supposed to be perfectly logical. It's fun. It's relatable. It even has Run DMC in it. You have a lot of famous. Alan Rickman is great. Even, is he dead now? I'm not sure if he's dead now. And
Yes,
you
he
have,
is.
and he was also in the Star Trek ripoff before the Orville. And then also you have William Sandler in the second one, who is now in the second and third Bill and Ted movies. So it's kind of funny how they're sort of relatable in a way. And they're also connected to other movies that are just as popular. So yeah, I mean, it's a lot of fun. It draws you in. It's a lot of fun. There were other movies that they were trying, like Red Dawn, which they made a remake of, and what's the other one? The other one was
Anyway, like he already answered the question whether or not it was a Christmas movie, and I'm just noticing that, and I'm like, Alex, you don't have to do that.
Oh, look at that, Robert Davey as well. Oh, that's funny.
Yeah.
Robert Davey, who was in License to Kill, the James Bond movie. So you got a lot of people. So yeah, it's fun. It's enjoyable. You got the great, quotes that I can't quote here because it's a family show. And does it make a lot of sense? No, but it's a lot of fun. And movies are supposed to be fun on one hand. You experience it in a way, and you go along on a ride, and you have a little bit of vicarious fun with him crashing through windows and all that. And there was even a TV show on Netflix where they actually did 90% of the stunts in Die Hard, and except with a few minor alterations, they could do it. Like the time that he crashes through the glass with the hose wrapped around him. When they did that in real life, they did have to warn the guy to close his eyes and, shift a little bit, but he was able to do it. So it's not even totally unrealistic if you think about it. So, I mean, that's a lot of fun. Oh, yeah, the other movie I was thinking of, Remo Williams, which was also based on a similar character in the books, because this was originally from an adventure book series. But the Remo Williams, even though it has famous actors in that as well, it wasn't relatable. So
Passing it back to Lee.
Yep.
Yeah, it was based on the book Nothing Lasts Forever.
Right.
Yeah, that's my little bit of information there. Brian.
Yes.
Go on then. Let's say what your thought is on this movie.
My thoughts upon this movie. I believe my thoughts would probably have to be what a great Yippee-Ki-Yay mother movie. I absolutely love this film. It's this whole debate whether it would be a Christmas film or not is a bit weird to me. I don't really necessarily see the point of it being a debate. It's an action movie. It's a movie in general. It's an action movie. So just watch it, enjoy it, and that's all. So, but
well, the Christmas debate is, for me personally, if it's a Christmas movie, kids should be able to watch it.
True. I mean,
kids aren't able to watch the movie. It's not really a Christmas movie.
I mean, it's got a Christmas background theme in it, but other than that, but yeah, Die Hard is, I would consider like a classic, like a cult classic film for people to go watch and entertain themselves with if they haven't seen it. I mean, there's a few well-known actors. One of them I recently just found out and didn't know until today that the actress that played John McClane's wife, Holly. If you excuse me for a moment.
We'll be back to him in a bit. Yeah, as I was saying, it's with all these movies, what we assume are Christmas movies. Let's say Gremlins, Batman Returns, Die Hard, with all the Christmas themes in it.
Batman Returns.
Batman Returns, yeah. They were all released around July time in the certain years they were released, which I find it a bit strange. Why would you release a Christmas themed movies in the summer? I don't get it, you know. I never get it. We say Gremlins was the same, you know, but I don't know. I'll put. Oh, are you back now, Brian?
Yeah, sorry, my parents just got home. So.
Okay.
But anyway, my what was I saying? Oh yeah, the actress that played Holly, John McClane's wife. I recently just found out she was in a TV series that I've watched, which was Parenthood, which was on NBC like maybe a few years ago. It wasn't that long ago, but I just realized she was in that. And the principal from the Breakfast Club was in it. The cop that was Carl Winslow from Family Matters was in it. That's right. He plays a cop every time he goes within a movie.
Yeah, he does. Yeah. Did I do that? Yeah.
He replaces his role as this character in the second one. So, I mean, he plays a cop within Girl Meets World.
Yeah. Well, some actors are like that. They just go with the flow. They just want the work. So there's been 5 movies, and they're talking about a prequel TV show or a TV show. And they're still thinking about that.
That's gonna suck. But with Bruce Willis, though, I mean, you can't go wrong with Bruce Willis. I think he's just enjoyable, absolutely enjoyable actor to watch in anything that he does. I mean, I think he's like one of those actors that can mostly pull off anything. So
that's debatable.
Well, of course, you know that his real name is Walter and Bruce is his middle name. And he also was married or dated Demi Moore. And then what was the other thing? He got his start in Moonlighting with Sybil Shepherd from the 80s.
really?
Where he was a big wisecracker in that show.
Yeah. It was in it was run for 5 seasons, that?
Yeah, it was.
Yeah. I mean, I might be wrong, but I think Die Hard was it his first big movie?
Probably. Let me check.
Probably, yeah, because
no, it was his first movie as an action star.
Yeah, I'm just trying to think, because Moonlighting finished, was it 88, 89?
Yeah, something like that.
So Die Hard was,
Moonlighting was between Die Hard 1 and 2. Like, once he did Die Hard, it was Moonlighting, and then Die Hard 2 came after that.
Yeah, I think Moonlighting was before Die Hard as well. I think it was 5 years of him doing that series. So, it ran 5 seasons. I'm sure of it.
Oh yeah. Like it was. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, you're right. I just looked up here. Yeah. With Alan Rickman, I think he's a big part within this film. Well, obviously he is, because he's the antagonist and villain within the movie. But again, I think he's like one of those actors you can honestly not get enough of, and I think he will be. He is missed, and I think he's like he would pull off anything like what he did.
Agreed.
Yeah, totally agree. But
I've only seen him in this.
you're going to say Harry Potter, aren't you? You're going to say Harry Potter.
I mean, I've only seen him in this, and then also Galaxy Quest and Harry Potter.
You want to? Well, I'll tell you something.
When he was in Sense and Sensibility as the Colonel, oh my gosh, no.
Well, he was also in an episode of the '80s Twilight Zone version.
But also watch Robin Hood, Prince of Thieves, Brian. If you want to see badness and evilness, you'll just see his portrayal of the Sheriff of Nottingham. That just oozes evilness.
Yeah, I haven't even seen any adaptation of Robin Hood other than the Mel Brooks one, but
Well, that's not very historically correct. That one.
And of course, he was in that movie that everybody agrees to hate, Hudson Hawk.
Yes.
Ooh, that was bad, real bad.
I mean, I also seen the adaptation of Doctor Who with Robin Hood, but other than that,
Well, no, but he was also in the Fifth Element. He was also in Whole Nine Yards. I forgot he was in an episode of Ally McBeal. He was in Mad About You as well, and Friends. So he's been in
I
a
never
lot of
seen
stuff.
Friends.
Bonfire of the Vanities, another bad movie or weird movie.
Weird movie, not bad movie.
Yeah, weird movie.
Yeah, there's no such thing as a bad movie. It's just the scale of weirdness.
Right, the so bad it's good or really bad that you can't. Yeah.
Yeah, I can name a few.
You're singing his song.
And of course, don't forget that he was born in 1955, so he's actually pretty old now. He's getting to be a senior citizen. And he was also in Red, I believe, which is the action movie with Helen Mirren and other, that was like the elderly British, Expendables, where not everybody's like 20 years old, an action star. And he was also a musician. He still is.
Oh, yeah.
And of course, there was the famous commercials that he did for that special alcoholic drink in the 80s. So he's been a lot of stuff. Yeah. Seagram's cooler, when they had coolers in the 80s and 90s. Slightly alcoholic, but not real alcoholic. Think Zima, not too much alcohol in it, really.
Now you've mentioned Bruce Willis's musical career. Yeah, he had quite a few hits in the UK.
But he sang?
He did. The album was called Return of Bruno.
Yeah, I have no idea.
1987, so it was before Die Hard was made.
I thought he was just an actor.
No. Actors can sing and dance as well,
Yeah. Huh. Matter of fact, in the old days, they had to do that before they could act.
Exactly. But right, my opening thoughts on this movie. Yeah, it's unrealistic. Even if Alex does say some of the stunts can be done, it's very unrealistic because I just can't believe a New York cop can be like that. Are all New York cops like that?
No,
I don't know. We don't live there. We live in Boston, and the cops here are really amazing, though.
I know, but I do believe they do.
And really profane.
Yeah,
I'm within the New York vicinities, and I could tell you they are not like that at all.
Cops, police, whatever you want to call them, do a great job. But I'm sorry, but if you was a cop and you was in that situation, you'd be cowering in a corner crying, wouldn't you? You wouldn't. You wouldn't be jumping off buildings and yippee-ki-yay in it. No, I'm sorry. But as you say, it's unrealistic, but it's a high-octane adventure movie.
It's fun.
It's a fun, action movie. But you've got the hero is only as good as the villain. That's what I'm saying. If you've got a good villain, you're gonna have a good hero. You've got to have something that will clash with each other. And Alan Rickman as Hans Gruber has gone down in cinema history as one of the greatest movie villains of all time. but they always get the British to play the villain, of course.
Yeah, of course.
But but this time he's playing a German. Go figure. But yeah, it's I like it. It's over the top. You can leave your brain in the corner and just sit there and enjoy it. You don't have to overthink this one.
I mean, I think it's supposed to be a little bit over the top, though.
Well, yeah, most action movies are over the top, but I'm tongue in cheek, Brian, about the New York cop thing. It's just a bit tongue in cheek. Yeah, but for me, Alan Rickman does steal it for me as the villain.
Yeah.
Ice cold. I mean, to begin with, you think it's terrorists, and that's just a front for what it turns out to be. It's just a robbery, which is you don't see that coming until you think, oh right, so it's they just want the money. Yeah, and say the action sequences are brilliant. And as I say, Bruce Willis acted his socks off. Well, literally, he didn't have any on all the way through the movie. So
yeah, that was a bit.
Yeah, with the glass. Yeah. So we'll go favourite scenes or things what you were keen on. We'll go to Brian. We'll go back that way around. Brian, things what you liked or what you keen on? Anything?
I think one of the things I liked about the most about this film is his first interaction with Hans. Like when he starts taking out Hans's group and picks up a couple of things along with the microphone, and he goes and has his first interaction with Hans. I think because that scene and that that talk and conflict that they have with one another within that scene, I found that really interesting, and I mostly it's enjoyable to watch, and honestly, I could quote a couple of lines from that scene, because to me that scene is like one of the most iconic scenes from the film. And the other scene I like the most is the when he goes and just has the cop car go down out of the building to get the cop's attention, and just says like, "Welcome to the party, pal." And then I think I finally like when he finally defeats Hans. Like, he comes in all beat up and bloody and everything, and he has a spare gun in the back of his on the back of him and everything. He just grabs it and just defeats him and everything. I think that's such a classic, iconic thing to do. Like, even in a movie like this. So, yeah. And the event scene was that's like the event scene, like where Bruce Willis crawling around in the event. I think that's well known from movie history because of this movie.
Bit claustrophobic, that scene.
What, you want to do that, Lee?
No, I couldn't do that. Knowing my luck, I'd get stuck. Right, we'll move over to Alex and Susan then.
Okay, go ahead.
All right. Favorite bits are the when they're shooting out all the glass, and favorite unfavorite bit, but really big emotional moment for me is when Hans falls to his death.
Mm-hmm.
That wrecks me. The other thing that is a favorite moment is when, you know, his wife's coworker sells him out. So yeah, that's big time. I mean, that's really incredibly. It's like one of those really uncomfortable moments when you're watching.
That's quite intense, that scene, isn't it?
It is,
Mm.
and yeah, all the interactions with the cop Al was also pretty brilliant, you know, because there was so much humanity in those. Anyway, and Al is like, you know, person of the people, and he's Los Angeles, and here's John McClane, who's New York, and not necessarily person of the people. But anyway, those are my favorite moments. And there's just so many other like really wild things going on too. So yeah, oh yeah, when Hans Gruber decides to try and talk to John, and when he says that when John says that, you know, when Hans says, "Oh no, you're one of them, aren't you?" And that scene where he ingratiates himself in, and then he gets the gun and stuff. That was really amazing, and that was some darn fine acting. Anyway, here's Alex.
Yeah, I mean, like I said, originally I didn't like this movie. Originally I hadn't seen the whole thing. But I mean, basically, you know, you sort of have to disconnect a little bit and suspend the disbelief up until you get to half of the third movie. And fourth and fifth, it's barely worth it. But this is the 80s. There are other films competing that didn't, you know, should have done better and are not really remembered. And Bruce Willis does have a personality. He does have a presence. That's why he was on, you know, Moonlighting and a lot of other things that he was on. And he's still acting to this day. I mean, he was born in 1955, so you got to think about that he was already 30 by the time he started acting, and he still is. Although I didn't like him in the new version, the new rebooted Death Wish. I was kind of like, ugh. But that was more the movie. That wasn't him. But yeah, I mean, he's an every guy. He's a hey buddy, I'm not your buddy pal, and all that stuff. And everybody's big as life. Everybody's got tons of personality. You know, it's an action movie, and sometimes you do want to have a vicarious thrill and say, "Oh yeah, let's beat up the bad guy" and all that. You know. And I mean, it has memorable lines. It has memorable scenes. Even the second one does as well. Even the third one does. So you know, I just got into the rhythm of the pacing of the movie, and it's fun. And thankfully, he's done other fun movies like Pulp Fiction, which is more violent than this movie, if you think about it. So I mean, you know, it's fun, and he's not a bad guy, and he's not a bad guy in real life either. And I also sent you guys some stuff for some of his TV commercials, as well. I sent you one, Brian, of his TV commercials. So I mean, you know, it's fun. Alan Rickman is great fun. It's too bad he died, because they could have done a Galaxy Quest sequel, and that was, you know, a big time treatment of making fun of Star Trek, which now Seth MacFarlane is doing with the Orville. And that's the other funny thing, is that you get to the point
Was he
where
sick?
What's that?
Was Alan Rickman sick?
I'm not sure, but he is no longer alive. But anyway, you know, you get to the point in life that, you know, you start making fun of sci-fi, you start making fun of action movies, you start making fun of sci-fi movies. And I'm surprised they haven't done a Die Hard parody yet. Yeah, yeah, they probably have. I just don't know what it is, but it's not a big time treatment. But yeah, I mean, this is one of the big ones from the '80s that's still remembered. It's lasted a while if you think about it, because the last one was what 2013. So from
Yes.
1988 to 2013, that's not bad. They're talking about doing a TV version. Bruce Willis is talking about retiring the character. Oh yeah, and the second one had that famous cop from Hill Street Blues and NYPD Blue.
Yeah, pancreatic cancer.
Oh yeah, okay. So Alan Rickman had cancer. I apologize. The Dennis Franz, who was in the last two seasons of Hill Street Blues and NYPD Blue, where he also was a cop that had an amazingly miserable life. But I mean, in a way, he's a famous actor as well. He's just hasn't done a lot of movies lately. And then I remember he was in an episode of the A-Team. So it's kind of funny how everything sort of interconnects there. Yeah. And the A-Team is very similar to Die Hard if you think about it.
Yeah.
But of course, more people, of course. But yeah, I mean, it's a whole funny thing, and some of that's coming back, and because they've run out of ideas, and but I mean, it's a fun movie. I don't remember if I read the books. I'm trying to remember if I read the books, but the books are a little different than the movies. But I mean, it's cute. It's as long as you're not too squeamish, and as long as you're willing to have a little fun with it, it's fine. So
Kick it over.
Yep.
Brilliant. See, Susan pinched me one of my favourite scenes in when you mentioned the way Alan Rickman, Hans Gruber just switched to a cowering thing, and when he said, "Oh, you're one of those, aren't you?" One of those. That's that was just brilliant acting. It was the scene was maybe 4 or 5 minutes long.
Yeah.
That was just a brilliant scene where he was just playing the Jackie, the coward. And then he turns around and reveals himself to be the slam ball that he was. Anything with Alan Rickman in the scene is just awesome. The scene where it dawns on him, he realizes that the woman is John's wife. You could see it just dawning on his face. I mean,
yeah,
we've got something here, and also as well the scene where the office person tries to turn him in. Is quite intense, as we said. But for me, it's just the action. The action scenes is Bruce Willis's quick, quirky comments. And the interaction between the two leads, it's a good movie. I don't think it's been bettered as in the franchise. Number one is the best. As you go gradually down the franchise, it doesn't. But this one stands up to the test of time, in my opinion.
With the second one, do you guys think that will be that's considered a Christmas movie as well, because it is like in the snow and everything?
Yeah. Well, yeah. Is it Christmas on New Year's Eve? Something like that, isn't it?
Yeah, because he says in the movie, and so does his wife. How does that happen to us?
Yeah. Every year.
He's got to stay away from airports and stuff. He needs to stay in a cave. Is what he needs to do.
Right. Now, this is the question I started the cast to begin with. Right. It's one simple question, and we want a simple answer. Brian, is this a Christmas movie?
Yes.
Right. Alex, is this a Christmas movie?
It takes place during Christmas.
Is it a Christmas movie?
I want to answer you.
Maybe.
Oh,
no, he said it earlier. Yes, he said it was.
Susan, is this a Christmas movie?
It's not about Christmas, but it is Christmas.
Released in July.
Ali, is this a Christmas movie?
It's a Christmas. As it said, takes place at Christmas. It's got Christmas themes. It was released in July in theaters. but in my opinion, if children can't see it, it's not a Christmas movie.
Mm.
But it has Christmas themes. So
let me tell you, you don't see this becoming part of Christmas mythology. You do see this becoming part of Christmas, kind of, sort of like telling a ghost story at Christmas time.
This movie is on TV in the UK every Christmas.
Right, because it's adding to the ghost story type deal. But
Well-
it isn't actually, it doesn't add to the Christmas mythology, which is what Christmas movies actually do.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, like, It's a Wonderful Life, you got angels and Christmas and what it's like and stuff like that. So yeah, for sure. It's setting in Christmas and all of that it's pretty great. So
I think we have concluded that the answer to this long debate of a Christmas movie or not. I think we've solved it now. So you guys out there, if you agree, let us know. So we'll go to final say and score. If anybody else has got anything to say about the movie.
Nope.
Okay then, Brian.
All right, I'll probably have to give this a 10 out of 10.
10 out of 10. I don't know. I just don't know why you don't like these movies, Brian.
Hey! A 10 out of 10 is a good score. I love it.
Susan and Alex.
I'll give it 9.5 C4 packs out of 10. Just enough to blow the fucking roof.
Yeah, and even IMDb says it's basically a Christmas movie. All you have to do, all you have to do is just edit out a lot of stuff. That's all you gotta do. I'm gonna give it 8.5.
Ooh, well,
And the second movie is like 7, and third movie because it has Samuel Jackson as an 8. But
Okay.
but anyway,
right. Let's see. What can I give it? It's enjoyable. It's action packed. Great acting. Comedy's good in it. It's out every year on TV now, as we just said. I'm gonna give it 9 Yippee-Ki-Yay MFs out of 10. See, I had to stop myself then.
You were careful.
I was careful, but it's a good score. It's an enjoyable movie, and you guys out there, if you haven't seen it, you'll catch it at some point. Especially if you're sitting around at Christmas wondering what to do. If you flicking the switches, it'll be on the channel somewhere. So you guys, I'd like to thank you for discussing Die Hard. You guys out there, please leave a comment. What do you think of it? What do you think of the franchise? What do you think of Bruce Willis? What do you think of Alan Rickman? What do you think of Brian? What do you think of Alex and Susan?
what about the fact that this was the ending of Batman before Batman?
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
With the Alan Rickman falling down.
Yeah.
Yeah, but if they haven't seen it 35 years later.
Oh, spoil it. Oh no. Now, but and what do you think about this great host that we employ now? And he's worth every penny he gets.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We'll give him a couple Pfennig for this.
But
German.
if you guys out there, please, if you've got any suggestions what you'd like to see us do, if you'd like to join what we do, I mean, we talk movies, we talk TV, we talk audio dramas from any genre. We even do music albums every now and again. Please just leave us a message. We're on YouTube, we're on Facebook, we're on Twitter. We're all over the globe. Well, not literally all over the globe. We've got a small niche part of the globe.
Yes.
It's a geek's niche, what we call it.
Our little zone of influence.
Niche. That's French.
Hey, I'm a well-travelled man. Well, you guys, yeah. So please, thanks for watching us. And I'd like to wish everybody out there a Merry Christmas, Happy Holidays. More to come in the new year. So until next time, we'll be seeing you.
Be careful at your holiday office parties.
Oh yes,
Things can go wrong in a big hurry.
Yeah, especially stay away from the drink and the photocopier. Good advice from Geek Assembled.
Bye. Yippee-Ki-Yay, motherfucker.